About 20, 25 years ago, Sally came into my office and she was really excited. She had found an article in one of those women's magazines, and she said something like, "David, you got to read this. I read it, and this explains why my first marriage fell apart." She handed it to me, and I read it, and I said, "Oh my gosh, this is it. That explains why my marriage never really had a chance." And so many of my relationships have kind of gone south because of what's in this article. We read it over and over for really our whole married life, almost 23 years now. And eventually I printed it off and framed it. And this long quote now sits above my desk. And every morning when I sit down in my computer and look up, there it is, and I read it over, and it's just become a part of how I think about relationships. There's nothing more important. The quality of your relationships with yourself and with others, well, it's the bottom line for your existence, the quality of your life, the quality of everything that you do. I want you to just take a minute now to actually read the quote that we found in this magazine over 25 years ago. I don't know who wrote it. If you do, I've been looking for years to see who the author was. If you know, please let me know. Here we go. When you look at relationships that make it, the people are good friends and treat each other with respect. They have shared values and they trust one another. Trust is the foundation. Without it, you don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you can't be vulnerable. And if you're not vulnerable, you can't be intimate. Let me talk a little bit about how this great quote kind of breaks down for me. It starts off, relationships that make it. The people are good friends. And it's almost like whoever's writing this is saying, here, there's a container. A good friendship has to have these pieces in it to have a lasting quality. And the qualities are respect and trust. They respect each other. They respect each other's God-given uniqueness. That every person deserves awe and the recognition of their own unique incarnation. They're different from me. They have different feelings from me, and I respect that. I let them own that. And when people give that to me, I want to be in relationship with them. And the relationship is built on respect and trust. Trust means I can count on this person, that what they say they're going to do. And there's a consistency with that. Trust is built around consistency, that you get the same thing. You know what you're going to get with that person when you're with them. And then that creates the container. Then out of that container comes this amazing experience in a relationship. You may have 3 or 4 in your whole life, or 5. I have 2 or 3 friends like this, and the great thing about these relationships is that my friendships with them, I cannot shock them. I cannot shock them. And we get pretty bare and naked and honest with each other. And it's okay to do that because there's this deep respect and trust with each other. And here's what happens. Here are the gifts that fall out of this container called a friendship. Now let me mention this too. There is a component in here that's not mentioned in the quote, but it's there, and that is a component of time. It takes time to build a friendship that lasts. It's built on trust and respect. And we're in a microwave culture. We want everything fast. This social media thing is a click and point and we're there. Friendships and relationships don't work that way. I think this is why relationships disappoint us so much, because we want something from them so soon to meet our needs, to fill us up. And when it doesn't deliver, we write it off or we throw it away. So understand, and you know this instinct, you know it's going to take time. So give it time. Let that trust, that respect develop, and here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to fall out of that extended time of discovering those things about each other. You're going to feel safe with that person. You know what you know what you know. You know when you feel safe. You know that when you're with this person, that what you say here stays here. And you watch that person, you watch your friendships, you watch how they talk about other people, because you know that on some level, how they speak of others is how they're going to speak of you. So there's a sense of safety. And boy, I tell you, this may be the greatest gift that has come into my life in my relationship with Sally, is that I feel utterly safe with her. And out of that sense of safety comes a thing called vulnerability. It's a big word these days. You know, he's so vulnerable and so forth, but vulnerable comes from the word vulnera, which means wound, which means you bring into the relationship where you feel safe and you know that those wounds, those places that are raw and difficult, are embraced with gentleness. Very subtle thing here. Very subtle thing. I feel safe. I can be open with you. I'm not going to be shamed. I'm not going to be put down. I'm not going to, when I share something hard about my life, I'm not going to be put at the top of your prayer list. I'm going to be listened to. And the person listening, in a sense, becomes a container that holds me, embraces me and my words and my feelings, so that I can feel vulnerable and safe. And then the out of the bottom of this whole thing, trust, respect, feeling safe, feeling vulnerable, comes this wonderful thing called intimacy. Intimacy. Don't confuse it with intensity. We do that again in our culture. We want it fast and fun and exciting and passionate and full of drama. And if there's not enough drama, then we're not close and it's not a real relationship. That's crazy. This is a very subtle, gentle thing where there's a communion and a oneness with a person, and there may be utter silence and the ability to sit in silence with another person without the drama, without the excitement. It's the time of intimacy. It starts with this beautiful container made of respect and trust, and the outpouring of that is feeling safe, feeling vulnerable, feeling intimate. What gifts? If you have 2, 3, 4 people like that in your life, you are super blessed. And count those blessings. This is what we want, isn't it? This is the kind of relationships we want. Don't rush it. Don't require it of everybody. Learn to be in relationships that last. I hope this helps. Have a great day. Take care.